Here we are, Manchester, New Hampshire. It's actually a nice city. I kind of like it. It's pretty nice. Not a whole lot of going on. I mean, it's no metropolis like New York City or anything like that. But today, it's gonna be cold to start and get warmer. It's gonna go up 20 degrees from hopefully in the ride I'm planning. But I got one advantage. It's not raining until this afternoon, so that's gonna help me out. And off we go. Now, it's pretty obvious that right off the bat I was fighting with the rain. It wasn't actually raining. What it was is just kind of like a dense mist, so that it didn't take long for condensation or whatnot to actually build up on my visor or on the camera or whatnot. I started obviously with my sunglasses on, and I had to take them off because they were fogging up so much. Me and them have very different ideas of what anti-fog actually means. Now, it was cold in the 30s, but I knew the further I went, the longer I went, the warmer it would get, and I was right. And plus, it would clear up throughout the day. Well, as you can see, there's been a little drizzle throughout the day, but for the most part, we're here in this quaint little church. You notice how they take these old colonial buildings and turn them into like stores. It's kind of it's weird driving through kind of the Northeast. You get kind of that colonial feel. You know, the small road with trees on both sides as you're going through it. And I equate it to like suburban driving, where it's like residential, then you get like this little commercial starts and then it goes back to residential. So it's somewhat interesting because it breaks up. It's not what I was doing yesterday, but hopefully the whole day ain't like this and I get to open it up some, get a little bit more wind. But it is warming up. It was 32, 33 when I started, and it's now like 36, 37 because I'm heading south. This is Massachusetts. You know, that is quintessential quaint New England. That's just kind of how these towns are. That's just the way it is. And you kind of cut through the trees and you cut through the fog, and it's, trees on both sides, and it's just kind of, you can almost feel the colonial sense of just the area. So here's a nice little spot. This is the old mill. This used to be a mill and it's founded in 1761. Now it's a restaurant with fine food and spirits and lots of swans and ducks. Guess they've arrived from down south, so. You know what the thing is they actually have a murder mystery, I guess they do here. You know, that play acting where you gotta figure out and ask people, because everyone gets clues about who actually did the murder. Everyone gets to play like Sherlock Holmes. But that's a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind coming here, but I'm just like, it doesn't open for another like, I'll say like almost like an hour and a half. So obviously I'm not gonna just hang around. Look at that New England fog. And this is just kind of out there. This is like I didn't see this coming. I just stumbled upon it. Those nice little gems. Had I come across this when it was open, might have stopped. Not sure. Would have stopped at least to go in. It's this nice little quaint place to just kind of take a little gander at. All right, gotta move on. my moment as an aside, it was just kind of constantly keep hitting the road and just kind of cutting through the trees. I mean, this is really what it is. 2 lanes, practically no shoulder, and just kind of cruising on through. That's just how this area is, and if you like it, and it kind of breaks up a little bit here and there, and you can find some spots that here and there to kind of explore on your own. As for history, you're not going to really find much. Look at this view. This is Western Massachusetts. I'm on 202, Highway 202. Whew. The fog has finally lifted. It only took a couple hours of riding through it for the fog to finally lift. Oh my God, that fog was terrible. I could only see, at some points I could only see like 50 feet in front of me. Now technically we are in moose country, but I have not seen one. I'm guessing like nowadays they're actually not that active at this time of the year, but who knows? I don't really know a lot about moose, so. Finally, a break in the action, and I can feel it getting warmer. Oh, it's working out well so far. I can take your moment of zen. That one spot there in kind of Western Massachusetts was really nice. I mean, there are some like sparsely populated areas in Western Massachusetts and even Western Connecticut. So a lot of people just kind of, when they hear Massachusetts, think like the Boston area, which is, of course, very populated, and there's a whole lot going on. But there are areas where you can get out and get free. I mean, there were supposedly moose sightings recently in the area that I just couldn't bump into. I couldn't find one. I looked a little bit, but there are some creatures that if they don't want to be found, you should just kind of let them be. Cutting through things, I found fog. I thought every time I thought I was like, oh, that's the fog for the day, I would usually find a little bit more. It would go even into like the afternoon or evening, where I think entire towns or entire stretches were in a fog the entire day, which is kind of unusual. You don't really see that too often. It's just a kind of mist that just perpetrates throughout the day. It was quite kind of interesting. I found it fascinating that it would actually be like that. But hey, kind of increases the mood. The other thing is these towns. All these New England towns tend to be set the same way. A lot of old-fashioned things. And they always tend to have some kind of central square where there's kind of this big kind of park in the area where they usually put up a monument, usually to Revolutionary War soldiers or something like that. And they have a big thing for veterans or whatnot. And then a nice park in the middle, and everything's spread out around. They're all pretty much the same way. I mean, when you get close to big cities like Boston, they kind of work like that with the commons, and then you get into these small towns, and it's just on a little smaller scale. So one of the things I do hear is the word kind of rustic when it hits these kind of things. And I think this is one of those things that, like the American pickers, that you do hear a lot. And right here, what I'm coming up on your left, you see some guy burning up just a bonfire in his backyard. And then followed by a little while later, on the right, someone's house was completely burned down to the core. I pulled over here. There's a little bridge down there. There's a house next to this little brook on this lonely road, which is technically, according to the signs, on the Connecticut Wine Trail. Now, I've seen one winery, and it was closed. So, for it to be a wine trail would suggest there would be several wineries, but I have not seen them. But as for it is, it's a nice little joyous ride through the woods, a little windy. If it wasn't so hot, if it wasn't so urbanized with so many homes, they probably would have cranked up the speed limit a little bit. But as it is, can't complain. It's not raining on me. Occasional bout of fog. That's all good.